So here we go. Draft, just waiting for Twisted Fusion Mouse Control to ready up. We are on Cursed Hollow, picked by Mouse Control. Twisted Fusion is best of 5. Heroes on Fire tournament. This is the winner bracket semi-final. This is to qualify into the win bracket final, or if you lose, you go down to the lower bracket semi-final rounds. Twisted Fusion is ready. Mouse Control is going to ready up. Just a moment. We will get into this Cursed Hollow draft. Now, Twisted Fusion did win game 1 on Cursed Hollow against Mouse Control. Like I said at the end of last game, I very much like to see Mouse Control either ban out ETC or Nazebo, or pick up one or both. Since Jamara and Weezer have been able to play those 3 heroes all 3 games so far, and Weezer seems to be fantastic with his positioning on that Nazebo with those Ravenous Spirits. And Jamara's ETC play has been some of the best I've seen in a long time. I mean, his control, his positioning, his timing, his map awareness, just being where he needs to be is great.
And I think they were listening because immediately the Nazebo ban comes out.
I don't think a second had passed before Mouse Control went, nope. And since they get first pick and first ban, I'd like to see if they also pick up the ETC.
I would not be surprised, I would not blame them at all, if they just decide, you know what, enough of this. We're not playing that game anymore.
Although, Stitches is a very strong pick on Cursed Hollow. Those hooks onto the tributes, plus Putrid Bile, putting it all down, or even a Gorge, is still good on Cursed Hollow, just hooking and taking them away. Since a lot of 5v5 fights happen over these tributes.
Definitely. We're still waiting to see what gets banned out from Twisted Fusion. They're really thinking this one over, going into their bonus time over it.
I think Twisted Fusion might want to ban out the Vala, because they'll either be thinking the Mouse Control will want to take up the ETC, which they've not actually shown any thought of taking yet. Mouse Control have. So either they'll want to get the ETC, but they might not want the Mouse Control to get Vala, who is a super strong assassin.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, but Mouse Control have played Rhaegar all 3 games, haven't they?
Yes, and they have had Raiden on that Rhaegar all 3 games.
So it might have been worth as something to consider, Twisted Fusion banning out the Rhaegar, just because it's obviously their preference. This is what they're really comfortable with, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
So it might be worth doing it. However, unfortunately, a second ban doing that, you'd then open them up to pick Uther, and then you put yourself in a sketchy position, because Malfurion is still good, but he's the 3rd best healer by a margin.
Yeah,
the top 2 are so far ahead of the others.
Saying Jamara has picked up ETC every game, and Weezer's picked up Nazebo every game, Zafman has actually picked up Uther every game.
Alright, so we're really seeing that these teams are very comfortable on certain heroes, and maybe we need to see them picking more of what the other team wants.
Again, Illidan not banned, Tassadar banned in this for Twisted Fusion, so the Illidan will be picked up by Mouse Control, and I'm expecting to see an Uther ETC, but I'm going to eat my words and see a Hammer Vala. There we go. Those not uncommon picks. So it's no surprise there, really. I mean, I suppose Twisted Fusion are going to be comfortable almost no matter what support they get, and unless Mouse Control pick up the Uther ETC, we're not going to see much of a change in Twisted Fusion.
To see, will they choose to pick up either of those heroes, or will we see the Rhaegar that they seem to love? No, they do go for the Uther this time.
Oh, pick up the ETC, go for the full ban. Oh no, we're going to see double support come out from Mouse Control. Keep that Illidan alive seems to be their goal.
Interesting, and taking the Uther away from Twisted Fusion as well, particularly since it's so strong against the Illidan. Having that double stun against a hero like Illidan is just invaluable.
I mean, we see ETC Stitches. Clever pickup here by Twisted Fusion, because it'd be almost insane for Mouse Control to go for that Rhaegar. So they pick up the ETC and the Stitches, 2 of the strongest warriors in the game at the moment. ETC widely considered the best, Stitches on par if not second best, and the fact that this is Cursed Hollow, like we said at the start, the hooks, the Putrid Bile, or even the Gorge is still very, very strong. Slam damage.
Is there any benefit to Mouse Control actually taking the Rhaegar? Because
I mean, unless you're going to go for the Uther tank slash the damaging Uther tanky build.
Yeah, you can always have. You don't even need to necessarily part of the tank thing is not just how you build, but also a little bit just the play style. Like Uther can just spend more time up front and just position himself like a tank, really getting in the way, and then with him and the Illidan, maybe if they pick up Rhaegar, and I don't think this is likely, it's just a hypothetical situation, but maybe they then pick up someone like, who would be the one to, normally I'd say someone like Vala, but maybe Tychus or someone like that, just to sit and do damage from the back line. But
yeah, speaking of the Tychus, we've still not seen him. Maybe Mouse Control and Twisted Fusion not favouring Tychus because of the Odin change, although Odin is really strong still. I mean, it's not a second health bar, so Tychus himself isn't ridiculous, but
he's not impossible
Odin
to kill
does
anymore.
more damage these days. Odin is
Indeed.
stronger as far as just the initial level 10 pickup. Maybe we'll see the Tyrael pick up again against the Hammer.
Maybe it's possible, or the Stitches and ETC have already been taken, so that's two of the
I mean,
top options gone already.
We do see double healer. We're
Sonya.
gonna get Sonya. Oh, come on, Tyrael. Full on dive lineup.
This is like the old Eraser comps that were back in the day, where you'd have Judgment Leap meta just all go down on somebody, and they'd evaporate a little bit.
Anubarak or Tyrael, and I'm a happy guy.
I think I'm pretty sure you want a second tank, but you don't necessarily have to.
Now, so far we have a 4 melee lineup for Mouse Control, so Putrid Bile and Mosh Pit are guarantee picks here, I think.
Maybe they'll go for their Chen.
Oh, maybe. We might even see the Zeratul or a Reyna pickup. I think Reyna would be okay. He's got decent self-sustain. He's a good ranged assassin, but I feel like they do need a ranged hero at this point. And they pick up the Falstad with 2 seconds to go.
Someone who's seen a lot less play recently. Falstad, you do not see as much Falstad as you used to.
Maybe for his big gust of wind, what's that called? Wind tunnel? That's the 20
Mighty
upgrade.
Gust.
Mighty Gust. Push out of that mosh pit.
And of course the Rhaegar, no surprise there, picked up by Twisted Fusion.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any doubts about what was going to be taken there, but interesting to see how the Falstad plays.
I mean, that's why their last 2 pickups of the ETC and the Stitches were smart, because there's almost no way Mouse Control is going to pick up the Rhaegar, which means that Twisted Fusion can just pick that up.
And I guess the plan for Mouse Control is if they have Sonya leap in, or Uther sprint in, and hit the AoE stun, followed by the other one of set 2 abilities, followed by a Shockanor. That is a lot of damage.
I actually think I would prefer to see Uther Rhaegar as that double support pickup for Mouse Control, whilst Malfurion is fantastic for the fact that he can give his allies mana, as well as he's got the good sustained healing ultimate, whilst Uther's got the big stun, so he'll most likely take Tranquility this game. I think I would prefer to see them pick up the 2 top tier healers, just deny Twisted Fusion that super high priority support. Might have put them in a better position.
Maybe.
You'd still have the big healing ultimate in the form of the Ancestral Heal. We're good to go. Countdown is going in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now for the potato loading screens. Come on, computer, you can do this.
Come on, you can get there. I believe.
No frame rate losses this time. Just gonna quickly hit the optimize button on my on my PC tune-up. See if that helps. Again, 2-1 to Twisted Fusion. Potentially the last game of this matchup. It's best of 5. Very enjoyable series so far. I think that camp steal is my favourite play.
Yeah, I think that's the best one so far. The little things like that, just suddenly deciding, you know what, I should probably just check what's going on over there. They can really pay off from time to time.
Yeah. Okay, and, sorry, let me just sort that out. We are going to have Twisted Fusion on the, oh, yes, Twisted Fusion here. On the left, we're going to have Azul's playing that Vala. Weezer is playing the Hammer. Jamaru, again on his ETC, loves that hero. Zafman on the Rhaegar, and finally Varakai on the Stitches.
And we've got, for the first time this series, we have Praeden playing Uther this time. We have Sonya being played by Razalat, Falstad by Zinwin, and we have Bot once again on the Malfurion, and Solid SMD playing the Illidan for the second time.
Playing his Illidan, yeah. Nice to see. Hammer going for Regen Master, as was the pickup in the first game. I still don't know what I feel about the Hammer Regen Master.
Uncertain. Hammer does have some strong other options at that tier. Like, is it the? I want to say it's the increased damage on the trait. Am I right in saying that? That's one of the level 1 options?
Yes.
That
yeah, well, no,
and resistant, the 75% reduction of disables whilst you're in siege mode. Both can be very, very strong.
We see Vala versus Illidan lane here. It's going to be favourable for the Vala for the most part, as long as she's aggressive. Sonya versus Stitches. Not too sure about that matchup. I think Sonya's going to have enough health regen with Whirlwind, but the Stitches isn't going to have any real issues.
As long as Sonya can be careful about those about the hooks into tower shots, because that's the major problem.
I mean, she did just take one tower shot there.
She can sustain through as many creeps as you can find forever and ever and ever, so that's not a problem. It's simply got to be careful about those hooks.
Now, do you think we will see Leap, or we will see Berserker's Wrath?
Oh, it's got to be Leap. It's got to be Leap. I think Wrath you can do a lot of damage with Wrath, but unfortunately it's a bit one-dimensional like that.
In my recent games, I've seen Wrath more common than Leap, although I've not seen Sonya that often. However, I'd prefer to see Leap, especially if a couple of heroes get caught out by that mosh pit, which will most likely see Jamaru take on the ETC, because then she could just leap in and interrupt it. And that is that. Jamaru taking some tower shots there, diving in, doing a bit of disruption, a bit of harass damage. Going to heal up from the healing ward from Zapman. Weezer's going to siege up in that bottom bush and just start attacking the tower.
You should be able to get quite a lot of damage on these towers now. They're going to have quite a hard time pushing it back, although I guess that's probably why I did wonder why Power Throw was picked up by the Falstad. Normally you tend to see Bribe just because of the sheer power of that ability, being able to immediately take camps, but Power Throw allows him to try and counter-push against the hammer much more effectively. So
no, I actually I'm seeing Falstad occasionally in my games. I see Power Throw, this build that we see in the Falstad taking now, Power Throw into gathering power, being the most common. The next talent is that you take will be the
Boomerang.
Yes,
yeah.
The Boomerang.
And
then
so
at 13 you will most likely see the right click. Right click's still 80% more damage.
I think that talent certainly becomes a lot better when you do take Power Throw, because it's so much more flight time to be able to get those right clicks in.
See the siege camp, the siege giants here taken for team mouse control just as that first tribute is spawning. Good play, good map knowledge by them. Solid SMD just jumping onto Varakai, pushing him back a little bit. Hook on Praedin on that Uther. Not going to be to too much avail. Jamaru shoving the team of mouse control back, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest the tribute, but Malfurion comes in with that little Starfire. Bit of engagement here, Razlat taking some damage on the Sonya. Not too much of an issue. Oh, we see SMD jumping in there. Razlat whirlwinding it up. We see the healing ward down from mouse control, gets right clicked almost straight away. SMD diving over and being able to leap away, and in fact the Sonya does get picked up. Already used Whirlwind, was interrupted out of that, or it ran out and was caught out, couldn't regen any more health.
And there you see, that is Sonya's biggest weakness, unfortunately, is she really does rely on the healing from Whirlwind to be able to sustain. And if you do interrupt her out of it, it feels like forever until it comes off cooldown again. It can be really problematic for you.
I actually don't think she was interrupted with that at all, unless she was hooked, because that was their only interrupt they had at that point. And in fact, the only stun they have is hook, mosh, the ETC stuff, and the hammer knockback. I suppose they had the ETC there.
Still certainly enough to... I don't know if it was on that occasion or not, but they certainly, if they keep their eye on it, they should be able to knock her out of it every time.
Bruiser camp taken by mouse control. Looks like Twisted Fusion are going to go take theirs now. Rhaegar, Zafran on that Rhaegar soloing the Siege Giants. Varakai taking some damage here top lane. SMD actually diving on top. Evasion, Sonya whirlwinding it up. Hook misses both, takes a creep. Bit of free experience. And that actually does get them the level up to 9, that one creep that he hooked.
Worth it every time.
No heroes bottom lane for a short while. So mouse control got a bit suspicious, check the boss. Nothing happens. Afran getting rooted, then stunned just behind his wall, but
They gave it a good go trying to kill him behind his own walls. It wasn't quite to be.
Bota's getting body blocked here by Jamaru, who is stunning and pushing back. Bota maybe gonna die, gonna get healed up, heal himself. Ooh,
Narrowly escaped.
super low health. Some from Praden on the ETC. No chase. That last right click from Weezer, not quite enough. Second tribute spawning here on the top lane. We see a rotation coming up, so it's a 3v2 against Master Control at the moment. Razalat has been caught out. Lots of targets of Whirlwind heal from, but not nearly enough. Good hook from Barakai onto Zimwin. The barrel rolls away, and they're just going to take the tribute and be done with that.
That puts us 2 tributes to 0 in the favour of Twisted Fusion.
Again, we're going to have Mosh Pit. Again, we're going to have Rain of Vengeance, and again, we're going to have Putrid Vial.
These players, they know what they like, and they're sticking with it. And we do see Leap.
And we see Twilight Dream from Malfurion, so not the what I was expecting in the Tranquility. I mean, they took no Gorge, they can't actually interrupt it in any way. Because Gorge is, I think, the only way that it can interrupt that. And actually, Malfurion dies bottom lane.
Unfortunate for him. And now Hammer's going to start putting a lot of pressure on that bottom.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see the Tranquility coming up from Malfurion because they don't have the big Rhaegar healing ultimate. However, that Twilight Dream, another way of interrupting the Mosh Pit, as well as that leap. We see Hinterland's Blast coming out from the Falstad instead of the Gust of Wind, the Mighty Gust.
Hinterland Blast. Pretty sure I called it Shockanor at one point during the draft. I need to try and remember that has now changed its name. It's been a little while.
It's changed a long time. God, give it the times. We see the Seismic Slam build come out from Sonya. S&D actually getting caught out here. He's having to survive purely with Metamorphosis. Good mosh pit by Jamaru. Catch out S&D and Praden. Praden is going to get out, but S&D doesn't. There's a fantastic Hinterland Blast to follow up. Maybe try and kill Jamaru out of that, but not going to work. Praden going to die on the back foot here. Not going to be able to get out. And that is a 4 for naught. The side team Twisted Fusion again just taking team fights fantastically well.
I have to give props to Barakai for his positioning with his Putrid Vial. He did so much damage there when the Uther and the Malfurion were just stuck in that little corridor trying to get out, and he was just body blocking them to stop them escaping whilst they were just stood there standing in the Putrid Vial. It does a lot of work when you stand in it for more than a brief time.
And with the curse up, 14 Twisted Fusion, they're just going to straight away take their boss. And it looks like Mouse Control want to maybe take theirs as a counterplay, but no, they're gonna walk past it, leave it up for a bit. I think
SMD is hanging around just in case.
I think had Zimwin taken Mighty Gust there, teamfight might have gone better. I feel like Mighty Gust might have been a better choice because of that mosh pit. He wasn't caught out. Sonya had already leaped in.
He got about as good a Hinterland Blast as you could possibly imagine. I think he hit 4 people with it, but the damage just wasn't enough. It wasn't impactful enough in the fight, so maybe that's something to consider.
And because the hammer took the bottom fort, or at least most of it, the boss is going to push in and probably take almost all of this wall here. Down the bottom lane, Mouse Control trying to 5-man it, but Twisted Fusion is just going to take Mouse Control's boss after taking the top fort.
They're just playing very objectively here. They're just chaining these things together that the opponent just has to deal with. It just gives them space to keep doing what they want again and again and again. And it looks like they're just going to go take the Fuzion now as well. They're just going to keep cycling between these things. Now we see them do the full lap and try and take Fort Mid as well.
That's most likely what we'll see. Feral Lunge taken up by the Rhaegar. Entertaining ability, but still very good.
Always fun to see the little hop.
Does a lot of damage.
And they're pushing very aggressively now. They're still here, still trying to push in the towers, open up the way to the fort.
Well, they've got a hammer. They might as well push. They're basically all full health. Almost all full mana.
3 levels ahead to boot.
Yeah, they have a whole town point advantage. See the Earth Grasp totem, by the Rhaegar. Spell Shield from the Sonya. Just trying to tank up a bit.
Unusual to see. The general go-to in that area is Aftershock. I means after using Seismic Slam for a brief period of time, it reduces the cost of your next slams. But I guess in this game, they've decided what they really need is just the extra sustain and not the extra damage from the Sonya.
And also, interestingly, Sonya took Shot of Fury to just instantly gain 50 Fury at level 1.
Means you have to worry less about trying to actually stockpile Fury before a fight.
Oh, good leap in from Sonya on the Jamaru, although Mosh Pit hasn't been used yet. Fantastic Instant Blast, hitting 3 in the end. Zafran just able to block that out. Good Ancestral Healing coming out, but it wasn't quite enough. SMD doing what he can, but Jamaru Mosh pisses up. Zafran just going to kill him out. SMD dies on the back. It's now 4v4, but Team Twisted Fusion looks healthier, and Razalak going to get hooked there by Varkai, and now it's 4v3. Zinwing getting Feral Lunge, almost dying off the back of that. Feral Lunge doing a lot of damage.
They just have to back off and heal. Meanwhile, another keep. I say another keep. The first keep falls in this game in favour of Twisted Fusion.
Ancestral Healing almost got off on the Vala, not quite, but because it didn't, it is off cooldown and able to be used. Whilst we only have, actually we don't have any ultimate abilities off cooldown since Metamorphosis was used and it is bugged. It should have a cooldown now, since it is the longest cooldown ability in the game, I believe, at 120 seconds, 2 minutes.
We do have Napalm Strike off cooldown, of course.
Of course, a 6-second cooldown. Putrid Bile, like you say, always seems to be off cooldown, and it is 60 second.
It is very noticeable sometimes how the 30 seconds between like the 90-second ability and the 60 seconds just seems to be a world apart of difference.
Especially since
between always up when you need it and never up when you need it.
Especially since this game has only been going for 12 minutes, which means it's like, I don't know, that's like an 8% of the game. It's on cooldown if it's a 90-second. Or a 60-second rather. What's 90 seconds is more like 10-11%. See, that's a huge amount of it. Gonna see this push coming up mid. Weezer's taken hovering siege mode, I believe. Yes, he has. So he's just able to siege up in the back and then push until he can hit the fort. Just gonna keep Napalm striking.
You're able to push just so much easier and more safely. You don't have to worry quite so much about being caught out of position.
That is a second keep taking, a huge experience advantage for Twisted Fusion. Asserting their dominance once again. All 4 games Twisted Fusion have been ahead. And they only lost that one to a bad team fight. Mouse Control taking, fantastic team fight in that Sky Temple.
It is the throw pit, as it gets called, that boss that is just the destroyer of teams. It really is. That was their downfall in that game, but no, they're showing us a strong performance like all the other games this time. They're looking to push in here and try and
push top. They've got some siege giants helping. One still alive. Barakai maybe looking to get a hook, start that team fight.
And what do you do here if you're mouse control? How do you defend against this? Because it just doesn't look like there's much they can do at the moment.
No.
If anybody gets a bit out on their own or a bit far forward, the hook comes in and pulls back. Although it's a bit close with that one, didn't manage to quite get it.
Boto being very aggressive, doesn't actually manage to get Twilight Dream off before he's just blown up. Good mosh pit, pushed in. Preding gets pushed in there actually. Divine Storms maybe try and keep him and the Sonya alive, but it's not going to happen. SMD has to Metamorphosis just to get out. Misses the hook. And a 3-for-1. Doesn't really know what Boto was doing there. Maybe trying to get a good Twilight Dream off to start it, but he was alone up front and got killed.
It's when you're behind you, sometimes you've just got to try and make the plays happen. If you're in a bad position, you can't really just play safe all the time. Often it just doesn't work out. And he tried to go in and see if he could make the play, but they were too quick for it. They locked him down, burst him. No, it wasn't to be. So that is a good game. And 3-1 for Twisted Fusion.
Yeah. GG, very well played. Good game all. I got it out before the game ended. Twisted Fusion advanced to the winner bracket final, and Mouse Control dropped down into the lower bracket. Their journey's not over yet. We could still potentially see a rematch of this in the final, or in a lower bracket game if Twisted Fusion get knocked out in the winner bracket final, or get knocked down rather. So yeah, that is it. Twisted Fusion wins 3-1 in this best of 5 winner bracket semi-final.